3, go.
Hello, I am Kendra Kunov, and I'm here with John Wineland. This is part of an ongoing series where we wanted to take some time to begin to answer the questions that we receive from men and women around the world. And frankly, we were just talking about this. We literally don't have time to answer all the questions that we get. But a lot of them come under certain themes. And so we're going to try to answer some of the ones where we get a lot in that theme and go as deep as we can in about 10 minutes. Anything you want to add, John, before we get going? Okay, great.
10 minutes, and 10 minutes is a hangnail with regards to the depth that's available in this work. So we'll do our best. And I guess the only caveat I would say is that this is our best shot for you. We'll post this so that people can hopefully get a little out of it. But this is, this is our best shot. We're not claiming to have all the answers, but we do have, 20 some odd years of experience, 25 years of experience between us in this world. So, so we'll give it our best shot here.
So like John said, 10 minutes is a short time to go as deep as a lot of these questions can. And if this work piques your interest, and you're really interested in any of the upcoming, we have an upcoming 6-month program. We also have some upcoming live weekend intensives. So please comment, reach out, find us on the internet. Both of us are very easy to find. So, question. What's that? A little too easy. The question for tonight is, it came from a woman, and she asked, what can I do when my man is stuck and it kind of is unable to take the lead? What are ways that I can inspire him, or what can I do in my own practice to help shift that energy? And what also can I do with the anger and frustration that brings up in me?
Okay.
You want to take a shot at it first?
Sure. So there's a bunch of different ways to come at this. I think one, I'll sort of take a piece of my teacher's lexicon, and I'll call one therapeutic, I'll call one spiritual, and I'll call one, artistic or yogic. And so the therapeutic method is to literally ask for what I love is an intentional dialogue, which is an Imago tool. Ask for a dialogue and say, there's something that's really bothering me. I'd love to be able to share with you what's bothering me. And then go into it and be really honest. Like, it's so frustrating for me that you're this stuck, and it makes me not trust you, and it makes me really unhappy, and I don't know what to do. I feel kind of helpless, and every time I bring it up, you get defensive, and you just kind of lay it out there. But the important thing about that is that you have a container where each of you can listen to each other without making the other wrong. If you don't agree to that, then you can try what I think works oftentimes with men, which is, set him up to win. So say something like, I really have something that's bothering me, and I don't want to fight with you about it, and I don't want to make you wrong, but I'd love to be able to share it. Are you okay with that? And, most guys will go, would tonight be good, or can we talk about it in an hour, or is there a time that's convenient for you to hear this? And that sets a man up to win. So most guys, unless they're complete assholes, will say, yeah, of course, I'm busy now, or I'll have time in an hour, or I'll have time tonight, and let's talk about it then. And then you've got him set up to want to help alleviate your pain, because most good men do want to do that. And B, you've given him a container where he knows that, his job will be to hear you out. You could also say, at the time, I'm just going to say everything that's on my mind. If you would just give me like a few minutes to say it, and then I promise I'll listen to you. So you can make that kind of agreement at the beginning so that you aren't interrupting each other, which is just brutal. But if you really want to get sophisticated with it, learn the Imago Dialogue, which, I teach, Kendra and I teach. And it's a super powerful way to express what's really true for you guys without making each other wrong, and with actually making feeling each other and empathizing with each other a priority.
Can I pause you there for just a minute? So that's that first. I love that you broke it into these 3 different places you could touch on it. And in that therapeutic, I want to underscore a couple of things that you said, John, which is, I love the Imago Dialogue as well. So again, you can look into that. I think there's even a demo of that on your website, John. So if you want to learn more about that, we can help you with that. But more important than the specific container is what John said, is that there is a container. And that includes, like John gave the example, it includes asking when is a good time, and not just springing it on somebody, letting it build up so long that you're just like, I can't help it anymore, I have to let all these things out, stuffing it for so long. But actually setting up that container, this is when it's going to happen. Sometimes it's helpful to give a time frame around it. I know a lot of men, they get scared when they hear a woman say, we need to talk. And it's sort of like something bad is going to happen. And how long am I going to be stuck there? Like, we're going to start the conversation. It's not going to end until she's done. And that's never. And so sometimes it's really helpful to say, like, whether it's the dialogue or whether it's just a context, I want to be able to say everything that's on my mind about this, to clear it out so that I'm not holding resentment towards you around it. And I want to do that for 15 minutes, or I want to do that and set a time frame. And that helps his nervous system relax. Like, oh, if I don't know how long I'm there, I can't say yes without kind of clenching around it. But if I know I'm there for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, I can totally do it.
Right. That's great. Another thing that you can do is you can tell him what it would do for you. A really good Alison Armstrong trick, and I think it's a really powerful trick. Like, if you let me just share this, then it would help relax me, and it would help me, feel closer to you, and it would just help me, reboot what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling, or maybe I'm not understanding you. Like, it would help me understand you more. It helped me understand what's going on and what's behind X, Y, or Z. So sharing with a man what it would do for you when you make a request is always a very powerful way to do that.
Mm-hmm. And then the last piece, this goes for probably all of the pieces that John will say, but I'll say no matter how you're approaching to bring that, is as much as you can actually do some kind of way to relax your body when you bring it. We're sort of speaking man-woman, because the question came from a woman about her man. But whoever's bringing the emotional upset, it's not about trying to stuff your feelings or get over them, but there's a difference when you literally come and your body is amped up and you've got like all of that going in your body, and when you're able to come and let it flow through and keep breathing and relaxing while you bring it.
Right. This is an art form, really, learning how to communicate these things without blame. And so that's the real art, is this is how I'm feeling. I know you're not trying to hurt me. And I know the last thing you want is for me to not feel, seen or heard. But when this happens, I feel blah, blah, blah. I even like when this happens versus when you do this. Or I know you're not trying to do X, Y, and Z. And yet when this happens, I get X, Y, and Z. And so what can we do about it? Ask for help. Like, the masculine loves to get asked for help. We live for that shit. So, what can I do about it? I'm confused. I'm lost. And there is an art form to this. And
that's
pieces I think that are crucial in communicating this, if you don't have a container, are what will it do for him and what will it do for you? It's not his fault that this is happening. This is owning your own experience, so to speak. And then assuming that he is, that he wants to, assuming a position of, I don't know what to do about this right now. Like, asking for help. Like, you're not just complaining. It's a big difference between just complaining about what he's doing versus putting yourself in a position where you're saying, I don't know what to do about this because I'm having all these reactions to this behavior or this situation.
Well, and in this question, it specifically is around wanting your man to take more of a lead. And in order to do that, you have to actually not take the lead. And so actually saying, I'm, like I'm having all this come up and I'm afraid and I'm, I think nothing's going to happen. And what do you think we should do? That automatically puts him, you could say like, okay, look, here's the thing. You need to take the lead more often, and here's how we're going to do it. And what you've done right in that moment is you've taken the lead to tell him how to take the lead. And so while you might get like the thing you want in the moment, you've weakened
You probably won't.
The dynamic. Yeah, you haven't created the actual dynamic between you that you want. And in going and saying like, I don't know what to do here. How do you suggest we create this? What would you do? What do you think I should do? Even if he gives a bunch of stupid ideas, which he probably won't, he'll probably give great ideas, but even if he does, you've actually created the dynamic that you want, which is that you don't know what to do and you ask him.
Well, and there's probably some truth. Like she's probably so frustrated. I don't know what to do to sort of to prevent this. And it leads us into the second piece, which I think is important, which is the yogic approach. And you touched on it a little bit, which is if you want your man to take the lead, you've got to literally not take the lead, which means, it doesn't mean you don't do anything. It means you start to express honestly how you feel. And it could be in the format we just laid out. It also could be he's sitting on the couch, not doing anything, and you walk in front of him and sorry, there's something going on in my alley. You walk in front of him and you just let him feel the discomfort of nothing happening. Like you can look him in the eyes and you can just be like, maybe you stomp your foot a little bit, maybe you like growl at him a little bit, but you just express non-verbally the pain of not being led well, because ultimately it's very painful for you. It's painful for almost any feminine creature, including men when they're in their feminine, to not be led well. It's very painful. And so, especially if they're unconscious or having some real serious issue. And the trick I see for most women is learning how to be responsive to his lack of consciousness. So when he's conscious, it might feel really great, and you might like coo and kiss him on the neck and smile at him and flirt with him and all that. You're responding to his consciousness. But when he's not conscious, how can you bring that same level of authentic, energetic, again, without making him wrong?
One of the challenges that I hear from women is there can be this very subtle jab when he is doing the thing you want, which is rather than just like, oh, this is amazing, love it when you do that. It's like, I wish you would do this more often. Why, and so there can be this complaint that actually even comes into when he does what you want. So again, it takes actually a lot of awareness, maybe more than anything, and just that willingness to bring the approval when it is there. Express this goes into the second part of the question, which I want to touch on before we fully complete here also, but what she can do about the anger and frustration that it brings up in her. So a lot of times, women do that. They stomp around the house, but then as soon as he says like, well, what's wrong, baby? She says, nothing, walks away.
Yeah. And I think again, and this is part of the, look, we're making it sound easy here. This is actually some of the hardest work that any woman will do, which is to reveal the pain in her heart non-verbally. I mean, literally, like how painful is it that you aren't being led, or that he's not being as deep and conscious as you know he can be? It's fucking painful. And finding a way to express to him, even if it's angry, as long as your heart is connected to the part of you that is angry, it will move him. Men tend to move much more deeply when a woman expresses not only anger or frustration, but her heart. So, we've said this many times. It's easy to say, it takes practice. I mean, it's why we do, we do a lot of this stuff in weekend workshops where you can actually practice revealing your heart. It's a yoga. This is why it's the yogic approach, to open your heart when most of your life you've closed it for a certain reason.
And one of the ways that we do that also is, of course, just to move through life, you have to lead yourself sometimes, even if you have a fantastic man who leads you really well in a lot of ways. There's, that's just part of life. Like we all have to kind of do that at certain points. But one of the ways to not feel the pain of that often is to just jump into, like, well, I'll just handle that myself. And so sometimes it also requires not taking what in some ways is the quick fix, because you could meet your needs faster. But if you're committed to actually creating this dynamic between you, then letting go of getting what it is that you want so quickly and not leading yourself, and being willing first just for inside yourself to feel how painful that is, and then being willing to express that to him, to reveal it, to share it.
Yeah, this is a very difficult art to practice. So just give it a shot and see how he responds. So for example, he's not leading you in some moment, and you like give him a little hiss, or you give him a little pinch, or you give him a little, and then he'll say, what baby? And you'll just be sitting there. I don't know what to do. I don't know. What are we doing? And then, and I'm not sure, where are we going? And then he'll go, oh yeah, sorry. Let's do this. How's that sound? And she'll be, and if it feels good, you can go, oh yeah, that feels great. I love that idea. That's awesome. Thank you, baby. Right? It sounds sort of, tricky, but it's really not, right? It's very easy and simple when you get it. I've got to stop this. I'm sorry. I've got to stop this, Kendra. Sorry about this. 1 second.